Disclaimer, this video contain, or not this video, but future videos will contain gore and other such. There's sound on in the background, so that's that. Also, my dog is whimpering in the background. It's just very late, and he needs to go to bed. Claw waited for the water, flapping his wings, flying. He fell back into the water as his talons scraped it, or didn't fall into water yet, but, well, almost. Well, then he did. A sensation came across his spine as he shook it off and continued flying. He flew around his island. Well, the only island he knew. He looked at the other land, that's what he'd call it, but, well, he might have talked about it. He felt the brush of the palm leaves against his wings. His tail shook, and he wandered far away from the ghosties. His wings felt so high. He felt as though the universe was telling him, just stay where you are. It's good enough. He knew where he was going now. He swam down to the deepest part. He didn't really know where it was. He didn't even know what it was. He ran into a rock and smudged part of his body. He fought and rumbled out loud, letting water seep into his mouth. Well, he couldn't he couldn't hold his breath entirely, so he slipped the water down his throat and put some air to cover it up too. He flew back into the sky to his daily flight. He flew around. Fennec was on patrol, and, well, that was it, really. I mean, he lived with two other adult dragons. He didn't know where he didn't know where either of them was. The wind blew his wings over and he fell onto the other. Ow, he said as his face smashed into a rock. He sat down for a second, analyzing his area. He thought. He stood down at the sand and laid his head down on it. He said, with the same sound as he thought. His head gravitated towards the sand for some reason on this beach. There's a small coconut, and it kind of looked convincing, though he skipped right past it. This place is so cool, he thought. His brain was telling him to leave. His wings would just stay put and not leave until he finally got to the other end, and his wings said that was enough for one day as it lifted him off back into the air. He took a deep breath as he just sat there for several moments, thinking about this place. It wasn't much, but it's still a lot. He flew back to the island. His wings dipped into the water several times like they always do when he flies. He never flew that high. He wasn't even really that good a flyer ever. He felt his body crash onto the sand. He needed to make sure that he went behind his rock where he drew all of his tiny sketches of the future. And he wondered about the rainbow queen. He wanted to be the rainbow queen. He didn't know any about the other queens except for he only knew that Queen Coral's name, and he also knew Queen Oasis's name. Not much else though. He didn't really know much about his own tribe, even besides the Seawing Park. There are millions of Seawings. He dipped his claws around in the water. He fought as an episode where they were in Miss of the Water. He stepped out onto the rock and went behind the place where Joe's lost strings. He used his claw and sketched out a little picture of him and 5 rings below him and the ring. He really didn't know who she was or why she was queen. He only really knew what Vine told him, which was unreliable, as she was also a hybrid and also kind of exiled from the kingdom, or at least that's what Finnegan told him. He gravitated towards the end of the plot where he wanted to reach for his mother. He sat there for a while until he finally saw a bit of a glimpse of them. Or not yet, but then he saw the flash of red or not red. He saw it was just a bunch of secrets, but then he actually saw the red and brown flint in the sky, or not red, orange. He turned around and didn't really like seeing them hunt. That's when he more or less got confronted by Fine, who somehow was so invisible. He hated this. He hated how she was always invisible, and she forgot his colors. Or he forgot her colors at every moment because so much he loved her. She was invisible. He did not like it. She was right in front of him, definitely, and about to tell him some ring tales, which would probably be one of the only benefits of this unexpected showing up all the time, which was why he wouldn't yell at her. He talked about the old Ringling Queen, which she commented that she doesn't think is queen now, grander, and Queen Oasis a bit. She also talked a bit about Queen Glacier.